Hey everyone, Chris here. So Xiaomi, alongside the 15T launch, also did launch this in Munich, September the 24th, 2025. It's the Pad Mini. This is an 8.8-inch Android 15 tablet. It's powered by the Dimensity 9400 Plus, has 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. With the EU version here of the Pad Mini, I get a Type A to Type C cable, a 67-watt charger, and a quick start guide included. And if you're an artist or someone that just likes to write with an active stylus, then I recommend you can get this too as well. Optional accessory, it's the Xiaomi Focus Pen. Now, this active stylus has 8,192 pressure-sensitive levels, and I will be testing it later in this review. Xiaomi also sent me this, which is the Pad Mini cover, and it's really good, high quality. It protects the camera module there at the back, all the edges where the Type-C ports are, and it has this little strap on it, so you can easily put your hand through that, and you're not going to drop it then, and you can look at the screen like so. So it's quite a decent protective case that you're able to get for it. 8.8-inch screen, and this is unfortunately IPS. I was really hoping that this would have an OLED in it, and that would have made it so much better. But it's not a bad screen that we do have. The resolution is very good, so it's 3K, 165 Hertz, and the brightness peaks out at 700 nits in the high brightness mode. Now, I've measured 587 nits, and it's good. You can make it out in direct sunlight, and you see if I hold it at an angle here, that not only do we have a lot of reflections, you can see how on the edges it's not a uniform color, so that's a bit of a corner edge shadow, typical of an IPS panel. I was really hoping that this would have OLED in it. It would have made it brilliant. Even at 120 Hertz, OLED would have been absolutely fine. There are a few things, however, with the display that I have to point out that I really am quite fond of. Is this 90 Hertz? Yes! Finally, so I mentioned this in some of the videos of the Xiaomi phones, like the 15T. I would love to have that 90 Hertz sweet spot, and there it is. So that's good to see, because this is just something the panel can do. They just need to add it, and they don't seem to do this with all the software. So up to the 165 if you want it crazy smooth in the UI. Really quick. So we've got the Dimensity 9400 Plus, and that is a very good chipset. Oh, I almost forgot too as well. I'll show you the rest of the build here with it. So the tablet is very, very thin. This is only 6.46 millimeters. That's the wireless charging area there for the Focus Pen. Okay, so that goes on the top, and it will be detected, and it will start to wirelessly charge that, and that is how you can have it. Now the magnet's pretty strong, so it's strong enough that it'll sit there fine, but if you put it in a bag, it will knock it off, and you could eventually end up losing it. So the Type-C port on the bottom, this is the data one, which is kind of weird. I think the side would have been better for data. So get video out, and you get your transfers with that. And then this one on the side is just for charging only, so no data on this. And if you do plug in a USB cable and you want data through it, it will even tell you on the screen that, hey, use the other Type-C port, not this one. So speakers there, left and right. Our power button, no optical, or capacitive, should I say, capacitive fingerprint reader with that, which is a little annoying. And here we have the volume up and down. These are made out of metal, so it's a nice alloy build. And our camera juts out a little bit, 13 megapixels, front-facing camera. Good to see that there's no ugly notch or anything. That is here on the side. And the quality later on, I'll give you a couple of samples. It's all right, but your phone's going to do a much better job. So we have Android 15. We're not on Android 16 yet with HyperOS. And the fluidity of this has been excellent. It's been really great getting around the UI. I've had no issues. I've encountered no bugs or anything that's hindered the performance or any little weird things, kind of glitches or something come up. No, none of that. So that has been really good with the use of this tablet. So I'll show you here, this is the latest update at the time of the video. Now, I get a lot of comments in my videos that people say you mentioned that the RAM quantity, and it's wrong because it has the caching, all right? So a lot of people do kind of get confused with that, because if we go into the detailed specs here, they'll see, oh, it's got 18 gigabytes of RAM because it's 12 plus 6 gigabytes. And most of us are techies, and I realize, of course, there's some people out there that just don't realize this, that the plus 6 is the virtual memory, and that is it. It's just a caching thing, all right? It's not actual proper RAM. Yeah, it's going to help make things a little bit more fluid, a little bit smoother too, so that is good. So great chipset, and you see that Android version right there. So there'll probably be some updates once, of course, this has all gone official. At the time of filming, the launch event is on the 24th in Munich, and I'm filming here on the 23rd, so it's tomorrow. Now, multitasking is very good. Not that I would do this much myself on an 8.8-inch screen. I find it just to be a little bit too small to go too crazy with multitasking. But you have your floating windows. These windows, I can resize them so you can see that you can decide to make notes a little bit bigger. You can swap it over to full screen. And you can also do the split screen and whatnot with these. So it's a good option for those of you out there that want to run apps side by side. So you can swap over them to them. So I have Chrome here, but I find that because of the screen size of it and this resolution, I mean, it's 3K, it's good, it looks really sharp, but things are a little bit small for this. I would rather do this on a much larger screen than 8.8 inches, but it is still a nice option to have there. So the gestures there are working really good, no problems with that. And let's jump into a couple of things I want to point out, as I always do in the video. So on first boot, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of bloatware. So the games, I installed those myself, but Spotify, TikTok, and a few others are there. But it is toned down for Xiaomi. This is good. I like what I'm seeing here. And I haven't seen any advertising in system apps. And as I pointed out, this is our spec here, that Dimensity 9400 Plus. I won't go over that again. And this is the screen that it does tell you that if you plug in a data cable to move files, or say for other purposes, it's going to give you this warning here to use this one, which I think is the wrong side, because if it plugged into a keyboard, a physical hardware keyboard or a dock or something, maybe it does. Maybe that's why they've done that. Then it does make sense. But to me, I think the faster cable should have been that one. Anyway, Widevine level 1 cert there. So Netflix is in full HD, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus, all your favorite streaming services. Unfortunately, no GPS on board. Now, why would you want GPS on a 8.8-inch tablet? Well, for boaties, people want to use this in a car for navigation or something as a bit of a larger screen. Well, it would have been ideal for that, but unfortunately, we don't have it. So there is no performance mode with that 7500 milliamp hour battery. We're locked into balanced for some reason, so you can't push it a little bit harder. I don't know why Xiaomi doesn't give us the high performance. Maybe they just want to reserve that for high-end flagship tablets and their phones, perhaps. So storage, very fast, as you can see here from these results. So not a bad result there too as well for that storage. And the Antutu score, really good. So over 2.5 million points. And 3D Mark, I would show you stress test and throttling test, but 3D Mark is still being blocked, their servers, by Xiaomi for some weird reason. And the battery life, really good. I think it's not bad at all considering it's 8.8 inches, but we've got a very decent battery capacity. So 10 hours and 8 minutes, and that is good. Now, I did run that test, mind you, at 90 hertz, not at the 165 hertz max. So it would probably be about, I would say, 9 hours if you did run the highest, absolute highest refresh rate. And finally, the charge time for a 7500 milliamp hour battery, it is very good. Look at that. 61 minutes only from 2% to 100. With that included 67 watt charger. So I think that's great charging speeds for the battery capacity, being an hour. So the tablet, very good performance in general. The speakers, they are good. We've got the two either side that I pointed out when I briefly looked at the design. I'm here in YouTube. And the playback resolution, let's have a look and see, because I believe it's going to let us go up to just 1080p maximum. It is for the current video. Okay, higher picture quality. What is that going to say? So 1080p, 60. That's what we're going to get there. So I've got one of my own camera comparisons right here. I'm going to briefly play that so we can have a listen to the speakers. They're loud, they're good. They don't have amazing bass to them, and I think they're adequate enough. I would rate them as a 6.5 out of 10. And now I can swap over to a 3x preset with the Samsung 3.7 with our Huawei. So it has that switchable lens. It can go 3.7 optical to 10 times optical, and 5 times with the Samsung, 4 times optical, with our iPhone, and there is a preset to then the Xiaomi focus pen that I briefly showed you. So this, it's been at the top there, and it's not just for show, of course. So I can press and hold down the button and tap on the screen. It's going to launch then the notes. Now, it has that 8,192 pressure sensitive levels. It has palm rejection to it. And just a very quick test with this, that you'll see that it is, I think, a very good pen. I think Xiaomi has really aced it with the performance of the pen. It's very fast, it's fluid. We've got the 12 gigabytes of RAM, and of course that potent chipset there with it. So if you need the stylus, I mean, this is a very good one to have, and hardly any, in fact, all the other 8.8-inch tablets that I have covered in the channel have been like gaming ones, and they have not had stylus support with them. So it really only gives you this option as a current new tablet with that stylus support. Now, PDF files and ebooks do look good on the screen. However, it's only 8.8 inches, so when you have it in landscape showing one page on the left and then the second on the right is way too small, I find, and you're really going to struggle, and it's not good for your eyesight. But using it instead of landscape and just to use it in portrait, that is fine. So this is an ebook style size tablet that is going to be good just to hold and use this for PDF files and your ebook. So I'll go into an ebook too very quickly just to show you what that looks like. And it's great on an 8.8-inch size tablet like this. The gaming performance is very good. So if you're playing a demanding game here, which is Wuthering Waves, this one, which is even more demanding than Genshin Impact, I noticed there are some frame dips. And those frame dips happen now and then. Like now, I notice that it's not 60 frames per second. I mean, this is getting a little demanding here for the Dimensity 9400 Plus, but even the Snapdragon 8 Elite would be stuttering and getting some frame dips with this game at the absolute top settings, which is what I'm running right now. So performance overall, very good. Now, thermals, it will get hot. It gets hot around the frame here. You do feel the heat on the back and when you're holding it, and up to around 44 degrees Celsius. So it gets a little bit toasty to the touch with long gaming sessions. Over very briefly to the camera. So front-facing camera, this can shoot 1080p at 30 frames per second only. There's no 1080p 60. And the quality is alright. It's decent for a tablet such as this. Then that rear 13 megapixel camera is capable of 4K. This is 4K 30 only that we get, and has electronic image stabilization. I noticed that it's not entirely smooth at times. It looks a little bit juddery. There's a bit of jitter too. But I mean, for tablet of this size and the price of it being a more affordable tablet, it's not bad 4K quality. But I do believe your phone will probably do better. So these are the findings of the tablet. I found that performance is excellent, really good Antutu score. So 2.5 million over points. It's got the 12 gigabytes of RAM, 6 gigabytes dedicated of storage to the caching system, and everything is really fast and fluid. It does have an excellent build quality to it. However, it's got an IPS screen. I would have liked to have seen AMOLED. The refresh rate is, however, really good, up to 165 Hz. And the cameras seem to be okay for a tablet. And the performance in general, just moving about the UI, has been excellent. I've noticed no slowdown, no dips in the frame rate or any lags or anything. Battery life has also been really good. That's another strength of the Pad Mini. And there is no micro SD card support or a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, I can let them off with the headphone jack because we've got a second Type-C port that you can plug in and use that for charging. It's on the side, and you can plug in some Type-C headphones or a Type-C to 3.5mm adapter. That's okay. But it's a shame there is no micro SD card support to expand upon that storage there. So thank you so much for watching this shorter review here of the Xiaomi Pad Mini.